Sarah Ferguson has led one of the most erratic lives of any member of the British royal family. After 10 years, she is hailed as the Duchess who infused the monarchy with humour and heart. The next, she is in the news for reasons that are entirely related to popular fascination and have nothing to do with royal engagements. Through financial difficulties, media attention, family disputes, and innumerable forecasts that she would completely vanish from public life, Sarah has accomplished something that very few people connected to the monarchy ever do. She has continued to participate in the discussion. She is now back in the spotlight due to yet another round of rumors. Questions about the implications of this current episode for Sarah's future, the York family, and the larger royal institution have been rekindled by recent reports indicating that she has been spending more time in central London. It is impossible to determine from the outside whether every report truly depicts reality. Private family arrangements are rarely discussed by the royal household. Instead, media analysis has dominated the conversation. Nevertheless, one thing cannot be disputed: the public is still tremendously interested in every action related to Sarah Ferguson. Make sure to subscribe and enable notifications if you like in-depth royal analysis that goes beyond the news. Here on British Affairs Today, we examine the relationships and personalities that continue to influence Britain's most well-known family, distinguish confirmed facts from conjecture, and revisit significant events in royal history. Sarah Ferguson has held a peculiar position in the monarchy for many years. She never went back to a full-time official position following her divorce from Prince Andrew, in contrast to senior working royals. She never quite vanished from royal life. Nevertheless, in contrast to many former royal wives, she continued to write books, give interviews, promote philanthropic organizations, stay in constant contact with her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and cultivate a public persona that kept her name well known. It has never been simple to strike a balance. Every time she makes a public appearance, the topic of her relationship with the royal family comes up again. Every interview provokes new analysis. Even something as commonplace as her residence or the frequency of her appearances in London can spark intense media discussion. Moving within a city would scarcely be news to most people. However, simply a change of address can result in days of headlines and never-ending online debate for someone with ties to the House of Windsor. Sarah is a fascinating contradiction, as royal analysts have frequently noted. Even though she is no longer a working royal, her daughters allow her to stay in touch. Despite their divorce, she and Prince Andrew have remained remarkably friendly over the years. Even if she is self-sufficient, the monarchy continues to see every significant event in her life. Both independence and ongoing public criticism are available in this role. Sarah is receiving more attention at a time when the York family is still the subject of intense public scrutiny. Instead of focusing on their official royal responsibilities, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have increasingly structured their lives on their own families and careers. While continuing to support the larger family during significant events, both have attempted to forge professional identities outside of the organization. The delicate nature of that balancing task has grown. It is often noted by observers that the sisters hold a unique role in the contemporary monarchy. Despite having royal titles and family ties, they are supposed to lead independent lives and vocations. As a result, they view every choice they make from two perspectives. Is it a decision made on an individual basis, or is it related to broader trends within the royal family? Even though there are frequently no definitive answers to those questions, they nonetheless dominate public discourse. Naturally, Sarah is lured into those conversations. She has always talked proudly about her girls whenever she gets the chance, like any parent would. Their accomplishments have frequently turned into her favorite talking points, whether talking about Eugenie's philanthropic endeavors or Beatrice's family life. Although the public's fondness has remained fairly stable throughout time, royal life has a tendency of transforming everyday family ties into topics of never-ending discussion. It is perceived as strategic positioning when a mother helps her daughters. A family meal turns into proof of partnerships. Theories regarding personal conflicts arise when one misses a public event. Even if the reality may be quite unremarkable, when monarchy is involved, contemporary media seldom allows for common explanations. Royal coverage has changed in ways that were unthinkable a generation ago, thanks to the digital era. Newspaper editors used to choose which photos were published. These days, a single picture taken with a smartphone can travel the entire world in a matter of minutes. Social media users examine body language, wardrobe choices, seating configurations, facial emotions, and even the scheduling of public appearances. Anyone associated with the monarchy has tremendous difficulties in this setting. Perhaps more than most, Sarah Ferguson is aware of this. Since the 1980s, she has been the subject of intensive media attention for decades. Few prominent individuals have seen a wide range of journalistic eras, from the old-fashioned tabloids to the constant online comments of today. Every report about her current situation is filtered through decades of public memory because of her history. Some recall the vivacious young Duchess who soon rose to prominence as one of the most well-known figures in the monarchy. Others remember times of financial hardship, contentious commercial endeavors, or widely reported interviews. Others, however, highlight her humanitarian efforts and tenacity in repairing her reputation. Every viewpoint influences how new advances are seen. Thus, depending on who is interpreting, recent rumors about Sarah's increased presence in London have been interpreted very differently. Some pundits provide pragmatic explanations. A large portion of Britain's publishing, broadcasting, and charity endeavours still take place in London. Increased time spent there can only be a result of work obligations and better access to events and meetings. Some have questioned whether the action is part of a larger attempt to rethink the next phase of her public life. After all, Sarah has never demonstrated a strong desire to discreetly disappear from the public eye. She has continuously embraced writing, public speaking, television appearances, and humanitarian endeavors throughout her career. One of her defining traits is undoubtedly her ability to reinvent herself. Her capacity for self-reinvention has enabled her to overcome obstacles that many thought would put a stop to her public career. Predictions that Sarah Ferguson's narrative was coming to an end repeatedly turned out to be incorrect. Rather, she discovered new endeavors, audiences, and strategies to stay relevant in the face of shifting conditions. However, thriving in public life differs from simply tolerating it. Maintaining visibility without formal royal duties necessitates careful judgment, according to royal analysts. Criticism is a result of overexposure. Too little runs the risk of being unimportant. In an effort to be involved in music, without seeming to compete with the organization she once formally represented, Sarah has spent years negotiating that challenging middle ground. Depending on who you ask, she may or may not have always been successful. Her ability to own up to past faults while continuing to help family members and philanthropic organizations is something that some people find admirable. Others contend that the monarchy's attempts to project a more streamlined public image have occasionally been hampered by her numerous media appearances. Both viewpoints are still frequently mentioned in royal discourse. However, perceptions are astonishingly consistent when it comes to Sarah's commitment to her girls. There aren't many royal partnerships that are as obviously loving as Sarah's friendship with Beatrice and Eugenie. Warmth that many observers characterize as real rather than contrived has frequently been seen in public interviews, family photos, and philanthropic engagements. Sarah constantly emphasized her family as her top priority, even during times when media attention became more strong. As both daughters have entered new phases of their own life, that emphasis has gained greater significance. Princess Beatrice has maintained professional interests outside of her royal responsibilities while juggling motherhood, marriage, and a few public appearances. In a similar vein, Princess Eugenie has juggled her family, her career in the arts, and her charity endeavors. Their route is far more complicated because neither sister has the clearly defined constitutional role held by senior working royals. Although only those closest to the family are aware of the specifics of private chats, Sarah surely has emotional difficulties as she watches her daughters negotiate that setting. One question keeps coming up as the York family continues to get national attention. How do family members manage the intense public scrutiny surrounding each interaction while maintaining intimate personal relationships? Many famous families deal with this issue, but it is greatly exacerbated under the monarchy. Common disputes end up on the first page. Regular family get-togethers make headlines around the world. It's common to view quiet as meaningful. That takes us back to Sarah's alleged relocation to London. Only those immediately involved are aware of whether it stems from practical necessity, career aspirations, familial considerations, or some combination of all three. Naturally, the lack of a thorough government response has sparked conjecture, but conjecture should not be mistaken for proven facts. However, the timing has maintained the strong curiosity of royal observers. Because there is a much bigger question hidden underneath conversations about schedules and addresses, what part, if any, will Sarah Ferguson play in the contemporary monarchy's next phase? Every member of the larger Windsor Circle is being re-evaluated as King Charles continues to shape his reign, and discussions regarding the future course of the royal family gain traction. Some are becoming more involved in public life, others seem to be moving farther away. One of the most fascinating open questions is where Sarah fits into that changing picture. Furthermore, the discussions occurring behind palace gates and in the larger realm of royal commentary might just be getting started if recent reports are any indication. The idea that every significant choice in royal life is dramatic, well-planned, and publicized with great ceremony is one of the biggest myths. In actuality, a lot of the biggest shifts take place in secret. There are frequently no explanations at all, no formal pronouncements, and no major speeches. Rather, royal observers see trends. A well-known visage shows up at various occasions. A place of residence shifts, a timetable changes, the appearance of invitations starts to change. A bigger vision gradually starts to take shape. That's exactly why royal analysts have been talking about Sarah Ferguson's recent actions so extensively. The entire story cannot be told by a single incident. Instead, the confluence of events has prompted others to wonder if the York family is about to embark on another significant chapter. Sarah has held a position uncommon to nearly every other member of the House of Windsor for decades. Despite not having a formal royal position, she has continued to be conspicuous. Despite living outside of the official structure of the institution, she has maintained close family ties. She has persisted in writing, giving public speeches, contributing to philanthropic organizations, and attending a few royal events, all the while managing a relationship with the monarchy that has frequently appeared to be both intimate and aloof at the same time. This unique location has necessitated ongoing adjustment. Sarah has had to establish her own public persona, in contrast to senior working royals whose tasks are determined by official engagements and constitutional obligations. Each project she works on is evaluated separately. Every interview calls for fresh focus. Every public appearance serves as a chance for both admirers and detractors to re-evaluate her role in the royal narrative. It is a remarkable balancing act that has grown increasingly difficult as the monarchy has changed. King Charles has frequently expressed his desire for a more specialized organization that places more of an emphasis on senior family members who are employed. Many royal observers think that over the previous 10 years, public expectations have altered dramatically, even though the exact long-term structure is still being worked out. The official representatives of the monarch and the distribution of public funds are under increasing scrutiny. Members of the extended royal family, even those who no longer hold formal positions, are unavoidably impacted by those more general debates. This shifting environment presents Sarah Ferguson with both opportunities and challenges. She has more independence than many working royals, on the one hand. Without the same constitutional restrictions, she is free to select her own initiatives, take speaking appearances, write books, and engage in business endeavors. However, every autonomous endeavor is evaluated in light of her royal ties, making it practically hard to distinguish her individuality from the organization she departed decades ago. She has been plagued by this paradox for a large portion of her adult life. Many observers have noted that Sarah's resiliency may be what makes her unique. Instead of ending a public figure's career completely, public setbacks have turned into pivotal moments. She has consistently shown a desire to reinvent herself, whether talking about publishing endeavors, humanitarian endeavors, or media appearances. But reinvention has a cost. In today's media landscape, staying visible is essential to staying relevant. However, visibility also draws criticism. New headlines are generated with every interview, every picture is open to interpretation. Even well-meaning remarks made by the public can easily become into the subject of heated online discussion. Sarah is one of the few people who truly comprehends that dynamic. Her experience spans several generations of royal reporting, as observers frequently note. She entered the public eye during a time when newspapers controlled public opinion, adjusted to the emergence of 24-hour television news, and is currently navigating a time where social media, podcasts, online influencers, and quick feedback from millions of people worldwide have changed society. The development of royal stories has changed due to the speed of contemporary information. Thousands of interpretations can be produced in a matter of hours from a single shot. Long conversations about family dynamics can be sparked by a quick appearance at a charity function. Even something as basic as showing up without another family member can lead to rumors about arguments that might not even exist. Maintaining seclusion has been more challenging for members of the royal family and anyone associated with them. When Sarah's connection with her daughters is taken into account, this difficulty becomes very clear. Both Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice have made an effort to forge own identities while maintaining strong ties to their families. In contrast to other royal generations, they have pursued professional careers outside of the palace, juggling private business with charitable activity and selective public appearances. It is a contemporary strategy that mirrors more significant shifts inside the monarchy. Both sisters have pursued jobs that enable them to contribute beyond ceremonial obligations rather than relying solely on royal duties for their public position. Many commentators have praised that strategy, claiming that it shows flexibility within a changing organization. However, their familial ties guarantee that public interest never really fades. Beatrice and Eugenie are invariably featured in discussions that they may not have started whenever the York family is the subject of headlines. Being a member of one of the most well-known families in the world has certain inescapable consequences. Sarah has always been committed to helping both daughters overcome such obstacles. She has shown empathy in interviews over the years at witnessing them start their own families and pursue lives apart from formal royal responsibilities. These remarks frequently paint an image of a mother who is pleased to see her children define success according to their own standards rather than depending only on inherited titles. Only the family is aware of whether living behind the scenes is as simple as appearances on the outside. The stark contrast between perception and truth is often highlighted in royal reporting. Public photos don't tell whole stories, they just record moments. Viewers can learn nothing about talks that occurred earlier in the day from a picture of a happy person. Similarly, a missed engagement does not always signify conflict or disagreement. When talking about ties inside the larger royal family, this distinction becomes even more crucial. Verified information frequently flows far more slowly than speculation. There's a rumor on the internet, newspapers talk about it, commentators on television examine it. It is expanded upon by social media. Even in the absence of formal validation, an idea that is repeated frequently enough eventually starts to sound like an established fact. Regularly, seasoned royal correspondents warn against falling into that trap. They draw attention to the fact that many royal judgments have perfectly reasonable justifications, but they are never made public because they deal with private family issues rather than constitutional ones. However, because the monarchy has such a special place in British society, official quiet is often filled by curiosity. Sarah Ferguson has repeatedly gone through this cycle. She is perhaps more aware of how quickly stories can change than nearly anybody connected to the monarchy. Public opinion changes in one direction in just 1 week. The following time it shifts once again. Family ties endure long after newspaper front pages are forgotten, yet headlines come and go. She has frequently appeared unusually composed at times of strong public discussion, which may be explained by this long-term viewpoint. Sarah has often been characterized by friends and commentators as upbeat, strong, and motivated to keep going in spite of criticism from others. These attributes have become essential to her public persona, especially in the last few years as she has publicly spoken resiliency, thankfulness, and concentrating on good causes. However, it is unlikely that every problem would be solved by keeping that mindset. Every new development obviously draws attention to the York family, which continues to be one of the most closely studied branches of the larger royal family. The public's attention is still extremely high whether it comes to personal undertakings, family milestones, or charitable endeavors. According to some commentators, the Yorks' distinct position is the reason for this ongoing attention. They are independent enough to pursue different courses than senior working royals, but they are nonetheless close enough to the monarchy to be important. There are countless opportunities for comparison and discussion with that combo. Sarah is a living example of that complexity. She is neither entirely inside nor entirely beyond the realm of royal life. She doesn't represent the crown in formal engagements, but she does attend some family events. She operates autonomously and enjoys a great deal of name recognition. She maintains a close relationship with her daughters, who hold a more unique position in the changing monarchy. These subtleties become more crucial as discussions regarding the potential future of the House of Windsor continue. Will the extended royal family continue to have strong public ties to their relatives? Will royal identity be defined differently in the future than it was in the past? To what extent should non-working royals remain visible? Both constitutional specialists and royal historians continue to actively debate these issues. The narrative of Sarah Ferguson touches on all of them. Her journey serves as an example of how drastically royal life has evolved over the previous 40 years. The organization she joined as a young duchess is not the same as it is now. The public's expectations have changed. The media landscape has changed. The lines separating private life from the public interest have become more hazy. However, one aspect is astonishingly unchanged in spite of all those changes. Instead of protocol, the public is still captivated by people. Stories of perseverance, familial devotion, self-reinvention, and complex relationships inherently captivate people. All four are present in Sarah's life, which may help to explain why people's interest in her never completely wanes. It remains to be seen if the recent claims about her actions will ultimately turn out to be a noteworthy new chapter or just another instance in her already remarkable public life. However, one thing is evident. Sarah Ferguson continues to be one of the most fascinating and erratic characters in the monarchy as it struggles to adjust to the 21st century. Someone whose next move, whether it is announced from a palace podium or happens in secret outside the palace gates, will almost definitely continue to draw attention.